Welcome to the Mojo for Musicians podcast from Manny Cabo Media, where we dig deep into today's top strategies to help you take your music career to the next level with real, raw, and uplifting conversations with industry professionals that are making moves, making a difference, and making the best versions of themselves to inspire you to do the same. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Manny Cabo, and welcome to another episode of Mojo for Musicians. All right, Mojo Maniacs, welcome back to another rockin' episode of Mojo for Musicians, a source of inspiration for my global community of artists. I mean, what can I say? I love helping musicians leverage their careers. And today is another special one for me. And I'm sure for thousands out there listening, because I have this most incredible individual that, in my opinion, is the reason why I'm in music till this day, doing what I do. And he has started one of the biggest retail conglomerates that I'm aware of here in Jersey since my adolescent days. Playing with garage bands and then watching MTV and scrutinizing all the gear of the rock stars of the era and what they were implementing. And, we wanted that gear. So we would go to a place like Sam Ash to buy the gear, or at least, ask our parents to help us out, which I certainly did. And I'm beyond grateful, because if it wasn't for my dad, that I never would have got into music, because he actually bought me my first Cherry Red Premier drum set. So when I tell you this is certainly an honor to have this guy on my show, believe me, that's an understatement, because he's essentially responsible for me being where I am today, as I just alluded to, and still doing what I love to do, which is rock stages. And of course, the occasional podcast, of course, which again requires some gear. And they've been doing it since 1924. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Mr. Sammy Ash. How are you, brother? And welcome to Mojo for Musicians.
Hey, Manny, it is awesome to be here. And the fact that you called me incredible made my day, because no one has ever referred to me as incredible before.
Well, believe me, man, there's a lot of heartfelt sentiment behind that, because it's true, man. If it wasn't for people like you, I don't know what we musicians would do at the end of the day. But seriously, all kidding aside, it's such an honor to have you on the show. And I'm going to give everyone a sneak peek later on in terms of your background, because you've got this beautiful, picturesque painting of a slew of guitars.
The literal background. Oh, yeah, not my personal background. Okay.
Exactly. But listen, it's great to have you back. I know the first time we did this, I guess, it was serendipity. It wasn't meant to be. And now you sound incredible, man. I love it, because, you were able to buy the gear, of course, at Sam Ash. Nice little plug. See what I did there?
I'm not sure I paid for the microphone.
I don't think so either. I caught myself when I said that. I'm like, probably didn't have much to do to pay for it.
Actually, it's one of my microphones. It's a Samson, so there's my little plug.
Oh, there it is. All right.
There you go.
Well, listen.
It's great to be here, man. And it's awesome to talk to you today.
Awesome. That's all I can hope for. And I know I'm definitely respecting your time. So let's get right into this. Now, you've been doing this for a long time, of course, as I just alluded to, and have certainly dealt with all types of gear. Now we're in 2022, right? And it's pretty evident that the advent of technology has taken music to standards that many of us, let's face it, never thought possible. And never mind the pandemic. That's just another story, which I don't even want to harp on. But the advancement in technology has been amazing. However, a little birdie told me that the used and vintage instrument sector, right, has gone up significantly in value and demand as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, right? The same would apply to like the new custom shop guitars from some of the brands that we love, like Gibson, Martin, Fender. And tell me how you guys got through the hump of 2020 and its aftermath and its transition through today.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
That's my job, man. That's my job.
We'll take it apart one by one.
Sure.
You mentioned something about what's going on in the used business right now. The
Man.
used business is rocking.
Nice.
Combination of people who got into it and decided it wasn't for them. 2020 was a very pivotal year for a lot of people.
Right.
It was the largest amount of people going into playing music.
Right.
The mail order industry went crazy with musical instruments, which meant that every sector of the country was buying, every group was buying, beginners, professionals,
Sure.
uh, hobbyists, and collectors. One of the things that happened is um, a lot of people needed money. This basic thing. And we were able to be there and I think offer fair prices. But the stuff that was coming in, it was all beautiful, high end, clean instruments. It changed, everything changed in the whole industry. The stuff that was coming in were closet queens.
Yeah.
But the market exploded and people are looking for all this odd stuff that's been hidden under chairs and desks and
Collecting
closets
dust,
for
right?
years.
Collecting dust.
Absolutely. And it's been a lot of fun. It's because each one is different. It's not a new Les Paul. Each Les Paul is different. Each Bach trumpet is different. Each DW kit is different.
Yeah.
And I think we do a good service to our customers. I try.
Well,
Best
listen,
we can.
I got you on the show, so obviously you did something right throughout the years, and I got to tell you.
Look, I'm here.
And I give a lot of credit to Stu and the guys up there because I got to tell you, this is full transparency between you and me and this grand piano here. I was going through some difficult times. I just lost my dad to COVID and Hurricane Ida wiped me clean. And I went in there one day. I said, listen, I need at least a decent pair of monitors. And my boy Stu, sure enough, he sees me because when I walk in there, I pretty much know a lot of the employees that are there. But Stu's looking, you see waving from behind the booth. He's like, "Man, hey, what's going on, buddy?" And I explained to him what I needed, and then he forwarded me to his other counterpart. And ever since day one, I've always felt like it was kind of a family-oriented thing. And I know it's kind of mushy to say that, but it's so true. I feel that I love walking into a place. People know you by first name. Manny, what's going on? How's everything? How was the gig on Saturday? It's just more inviting, right? I mean, that's the way I feel as a customer.
It's intentional, if nothing else, but it's what exudes from the reality of what this company really is. We're a family business.
Right.
Customer has a problem, they can actually go to a family member. An employee has a problem, they can go to a family member. They know our people have serious longevity. We have over 90 people with the company 20 years or longer.
Wow.
We don't churn our people. We figure a way to keep them however possible. It was painful when we had to have all the stores closed and put all these people on, over 1,000 people on furlough.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what was going on. All of a sudden, nobody had security. It just was taken away.
Well, that's exactly it, right? Everyone was like in this mood of like, oh my God, now what?
But I'm really happy to say that 90% of our people came back. So we didn't start with this new green, I don't know what's going on crew.
Sure.
We started back up with our senior crew, with our managers. 90% of all our general managers, sales managers, top salespeople all came back. And they came back, I'd like to think, because of us. They knew the company they worked for. They knew the company they are working for, and they knew the company they'd be coming back to.
Right.
And, we make no secret of how we take care of our people.
And you know what? I have to agree because, Jake Sachs, who has been there, he was there for a few years. Such a great guy. He's helped me with some harmonies and vocals and stuff. And then Dave, he took over that day. He's like, yeah, man, listen. I explained to him. I said, listen, I would love to interview one of your CEOs, one of the higher ups, because I love this place. I really do. I'm not going to mention any other competitors because that's irrelevant right now. What I do know is I kept shopping at your facility.
I don't think you can get Mr. Center on the phone, though. Sorry.
No, that's a good one. I like that. And Dave's like, yeah, man, let me give you Sammy's email. And he knew who I was. Obviously, I wasn't scamming anything. And it was easy as that. But the relationship that I've built with your community has been fantastic. And it's a true testament to upper management. I've been in retail, man. I've worked there all my life. If you're happy
But
working there, then you're happy in the environment. And guess what? In turn, you treat your customers happily. That makes
Well,
sense, right?
think about what you just said and how odd that is.
Yeah.
You went into an associate on the floor who gave you the boss's email address and phone number without fear. Now,
Right.
what's going to happen? You know, they understand the kind of company we are. We're very open. We're very real. There's this thing called the bird eye, which is a culmination of Google and several other rating services, and they put them all together in a package, and they send us this information. And for the most part, frankly, the word I can use is our customers love us.
Yeah.
Because when we get the negative bird eye, because there are those,
Oh, absolutely.
I deal with it. Every morning, I deal with it. I find out what went, why the customer was so angry, or why they felt that they were wronged in one way or another. We get to the meat of it.
Sure.
But there's a lot of that. There's a lot of us involved directly. I have my two brothers. I have two sons currently, three nephews. My vice president has been with us since 69.
Man.
My other executive vice president since 75. I just hit my 50th anniversary. And you know, we know each other. We trust each
Now,
other.
I got to stop you. I'm just intrigued. I got to ask you. So, you know, sometimes it's a nightmare working with family. How is it with you? Because and you know what? It's not like one or two. You've got like literally a whole family working with you. Like, does it get exhausting? Does it get tense sometimes? You know, the varying opinions, the personalities, you know, the emotional side. How's that play a role? Look at you. Evidenced by the grin, I can only imagine.
Well, the truth is, it's not easy. I
Right.
mean, we all want to get to the same direction. We all want to figure out how to do it best, how to take care of the people best. And there can only be one idea.
Right.
So you compromise. Whose idea is it best? And we throw stuff out for discussion. How are the people going to react if we do X or if we do Y?
Right.
What is it going to be for them? And, you know, oh, that's a bad idea. All right, we won't do it. Oh, I think that's a great promotion. Okay, everyone agree? Yeah, great.
Yeah.
But we're not talking a huge group here. We're talking 3 to 5 people at most that basically run the direction, decide how this company is going to go, the products we're going to carry, the direction of openings and closings and all of that. It's not, we're completely self-owned. There's no board of directors. I mean, the closest thing we have to board of directors is Thanksgiving. And
you know what? And I have to ask that. I had to pose the question because, you know, especially during a pandemic, you know, tension is really, really high. And
actually, no, it's great. Pandemic, everyone worked from home. It was awesome.
Okay, there you go. Okay, some very opinions. And it's true. I get it. But, you know, it's just one of those questions where, you know, you start mentioning family and you're like, oh, you start to cringe. But yeah, I could see that. And of course, all kidding aside, I know you got your stuff together over there because the service has been consistent since day one. Everyone there. I mean, you walk in the store, everybody greets you. Man, I love that stuff. It's the little things for me. I worked in retail all my life. I worked with some of the big retail conglomerates like Enterprise Rent-A-Car, you know, Apple Computers. And we were always taught to exceed expectations. And, you know, I'm fully commending you on this because all the guys and the crew that you have all there, they're very knowledgeable, very approachable, and just cool dudes. And they do what I do, which is play music. And, you know, what better person to talk to than somebody who could understand and relate to what you do day in and day out?
Well, a lot of that is the feedback from the customers. You know, if I get a lot of reports of one particular individual, what's going on here? I'll take it to either the manager directly or I'll take it to the regional manager, say, what is going on? Why are everybody complaining about this person? Or why are they complaining about the way the store looks or whatever? And we react on these things and the customers understand that.
Yeah.
But it's very important that people understand we are a complete hands-on company.
That's awesome.
we we have no hobbies, for one thing. All of our hobbies are our children. That's basically what it comes down to. I hack on guitar. My brother Richard hacks on a bunch of instruments. Actually, he's a pretty decent musician. And we wake up in the morning, I read reports, I have dinner afterwards, I catch up on emails and Facebook questions and all that kind of stuff. Same goes for the rest of my family. Wow. I see my dad almost every day. And, if I wasn't continuing the way it was, I wouldn't be able to, I couldn't lie to him about what's going on.
Sure.
So we just make sure, hey, status quo, everything is going forward. Every customer is being handled properly, and if not properly, compensated for. Whatever it takes. I mean, we're just, this month is our 98th anniversary.
Wow.
And, that's longevity. And there's something we must be doing right.
Yeah, tell me about it.
We've never declared bankruptcy. We've always been there. The famous quote, 98 years, no convictions. That's actually one of my favorites.
Well played. Well, listen, hold on. Let me stop you right there, because this is actually a great segue into question number 2, which is something that has certainly affected me with respect to, let's just say, availability. Talk to me about, let's go back to some normalcy, because we truly all lacked that normalcy during the pandemic. Right. And even my own personal sponsors like Stedman and Sennheiser and Westone, they all had some major issues with, instruments and pieces being back ordered. Right. Until this day, they're still lacking in inventory. So how did you guys manage that? But more importantly, how did you maintain the relationship with the community of musicians and the existing customers that you had? Because let's face it, they've been relying on you for so many years. Like, what was your rebuttal? I come in, I need this specific wireless microphone system. It's not in stock. Like, how did you deal with that? Because that's the secret sauce of the longevity.
Well, a lot of apologies. A lot of apologies. See, COVID wasn't one factor to our industry. It was a calamity. Yeah. You had COVID, so manufacturers had to close, running from 3 shifts to none. Going back to 3 shifts after 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months isn't a fast thing. So suddenly you have months of product not being manufactured for anybody in any part of the world. Right. Then you had the chip problem that took place in China and Japan. So suddenly couldn't get a keyboard anywhere from Yamaha, Roland, Korg. No one's fault, but they all relied on this one manufacturer. And, that happened. Then you had shortages in China. And today, half of everything we sell, whether it's brass and winds, guitars, PA cabinets, whatever, is made in China. So when they have a shortage, once again, so this was not just a guitar thing. This was an everybody's thing. And in every musician was hampered, and there was very little we could do about it. The stuff that we were selling was crazy. We were selling stuff that wasn't normally selling because we had it. People were making substitutes because we had it. Sure. And also another thing happened is loyalty to the dealer, which I only expect you to be loyal if we do the right thing, but loyalty to the dealer was out the window. Hey, you have a Les Paul and Sunburst, you're the only person in the country and buying it from you. I usually go to,
of course,
but you've got it. I'll take it.
Well, I mean, what can they say at that point? The scarcity played a huge part in all that stuff. I mean, you can't take umbrage to that, right?
Huge. And that has fueled the used and vintage market.
That makes sense.
Because also the manufacturers, well, I'm not saying they didn't need to make price rises, but they used that as one of the reasons. And I think they all needed to make price rises. I'm not blaming them. Everybody's materials are taking longer to get, harder to harvest. But normalcy is coming in. I'm now seeing things in 30s and 40s and not 1s and 2s. I'm now seeing pallets as opposed to 10s. And And that's everything. Once
Yeah.
again, across the board, we're now starting to see brass and winds that we hadn't seen in a while, nice kits that we hadn't seen in a while, PA cabinets. This was the craziest thing I never understood. One of the strongest categories in the pandemic, when every club in the world was closed, was PA systems. The nuttiest thing. Where were people using them? I couldn't figure it out. But now it's even bigger because the clubs are reopened and a lot of people are out. A lot of places got COVID money to outfit, upgrade, all of that. So it went from a total calamity to now everything is starting to rise. You know what they say? High tide raises all boats.
Sure.
Well, the boats are raising. Sweetwater announced they did $1.4 billion in sales.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but I've lived in this business my whole life, and to me, that's insane.
Yeah, that's an astronomical
And
amount.
I'm not saying that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
They did it. They deserve it. They're a great company. Chuck Surak, who was the owner, has stepped aside. I don't know what's happening or what's going to go on, but they're a quality company.
I only have good things to say about Sweetwater. I've got a couple of reps, good people. Yeah.
But 10 years ago, they did less than half of that.
Yeah.
So there is growth happening. I understand a lot of music stores did close. I have a feeling it had a lot to do with being underfunded. But the music stores that stayed are all very much like me. We're healthy, and I could sell more if I had more.
Right.
If I had another 50 Les Paul standards, I'd sell another 50 Les Paul standards tomorrow. If I had another anything. But it's like I said, it's building up. Right. I have this division called Guitars of Distinction, which is guitars that are $2,000 and up. They all come into my division and they all get inspected, blah, 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 blah.
Nice. The babies.
A year ago, I had 12 guitars on my 70, 80, 90 shelves. Now I've got a nice representation from everybody. I got a big selection of Taylor. Martin is starting to fill up. Gibson, everybody, it's not the numbers we want, but it's the numbers that we'll take.
It's something.
And the customer's appetite doesn't seem to be waning. I mean,
oh no,
they still want more gear.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the old days. You start with your guitar and your amplifier and you buy a fuzz, and the next thing you know, you're buying a better cable and you're buying a chorus pedal and you're buying a strap. That's, it's a wave.
And your brother's like, but you told me once in passing, your brother like loves pedals. He's like an aficionado of pedals.
No, that's my son.
Oh, your son. Okay.
He's a pedal geek. He's a pedal geek. We just recently had gotten in a Klon Golden Horsey.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. Well, we're asking many, many thousands of dollars for it.
Wow.
And it's a pedal that's sold for $300 new.
Yeah.
There's this thing going on with specialty pedals, custom pedals, original Japanese pedals. If somebody has a Sam Ash fuzz box from 1967 for $1,100.
That's insane.
On Reverb.
Well, I will tell you this. A good friend of mine, RJ Ronquillo, who's a big influencer. He was the guitar player. We performed actually in Nashville at the stadium, and he was with Thompson Square, and he does a lot of videos for pedals. And when I tell you, I can't even fathom the amount of comments that you see on his posts, because they're all, wow, that sounds like the classic 1960 or the 1950, or where'd you get that? And so I believe you, man. I completely understand the value and the fanfare behind pedals. So yeah, it's no surprise for me there.
There's also this underground of pedal manufacturers, garage pedal manufacturers doing some really cool stuff.
Man.
But they make so few, they don't go to dealers. For the most part, they're sold direct. And some of them are really awesome.
Oh, I see. Yeah. And it's true.
But you have to do a leap of faith. Here's a person you never heard of. in a town you've never been to,
Mm.
who's making a pedal that's a one-off that's going to cost me $325. Okay, well, like I said, that's a leap of faith. But it,
It's kind of
these
cool for
guys are
that.
making a name for themselves.
Well, yeah, that's just it. It's there, and there's an element of exclusivity there. I've got the one of a kind or the two of a kind. That's pretty cool. So
very important,
right? So listen,
very important.
Let's move on to question number 3 because this is
Sure.
definitely a way to sediment these two. Let's talk about the future of Sam Ash and where you guys are headed. I don't know, with respect to advertising and social media, the internet, the metaverse. There's so much going on, and what have you guys learned thus far and looking to implement in the future? And the second part of this question is what I personally love, and that just brings me to another tier of respect for you guys and appreciation, is to your mom's scholarship, the Bernice Ash Memorial NAM Scholarship. Like, how did you guys ideate that, and who was it specifically created for?
All right, where do you want me to go first?
You take it, man. I just asked the question.
You know what? I'm going to talk about my mom for a second.
Yeah, who doesn't, right?
My mom was an extraordinary person. She was a beautiful woman, and she was unique in this industry. She ran the sheet music and books, print music division of Sam Ash Music. Doesn't sound like a lot, but she had gotten it up at one time to close to $20 million in sales of books and sheet music by herself and her team.
That's amazing.
This is without fancy computers and all that, a lot of handwork. And she was recognized as a force in this industry. She wasn't Jerry's wife. She was either Bernice Ash or Jerry and Bernice.
Right.
She was never Jerry's wife.
Yeah, she made a name for herself, man.
She made a name for herself and a quality name for herself.
Sure.
So,
and rightfully so.
And she did. And our friends, the Gretsch family, Fred and Dinah Gretsch, decided when my mother passed last year that a scholarship should be in her name for strong women in our industry to look forward to. And, the initial, we were trying to reach $100,000. I think we've exceeded $200,000. So now it's perpetual. We know it's going to go on forever, and my mother's name will live forever regarding this.
That's amazing.
Yes, but it is absolutely the Gretsch's seed. They brought it to NAM, and NAM asked my permission, like I'm going to say no.
Right.
And it was one of the greatest gestures, and it became industry. Retailers supported this, manufacturers supported this, publishers supported this. It was crazy how everybody just came together.
Well, here's the thing. I definitely have to interject because this is a testament. I say this all the time. Listen, when you have this beautiful energy, right, and you do things to elevate the community, to better someone, to empower someone else, the only thing that can come from it are good things. And so it doesn't surprise me that the Gretsch family wanted to at least, idolize your mom. And like I said, rightfully so. That's incredible, man. And congratulations. Well-deserved.
Thank you. There's a history with the Gretsch family. And really fast, one of the many little anecdotes is when my father and uncle were looking to expand into this place called Long Island, it was Fred Gretsch who put them in the back of his Cadillac. First time they ever sat in a leather seat in their whole lives, in a car anyway, and drove them out to this place called Long Island and helped them find their third store. He, Fred Gretsch Sr., made us a chain. Wow. That's kind of wild, right?
How many stores do you have now, Sammy?
45.
Wow.
And order fulfillment center in Tampa and 4 distribution centers.
I had no idea, man. I thought maybe, 20. I know you have a few here in Jersey, but 4. Oh my God, that's incredible, man.
We're in 16 states. We're in most of the major music capitals in the country. And that's, of course, on purpose. We're in, of course, New York, but we're in Miami, we're in Nashville, we're in Chicago, we're in LA, we ring LA, actually.
Well, you have to be
we're
strategic
in San Antonio. you know, we want to be where the musicians are,
Right.
and that's that. I mean, could we get a lot bigger? Not without too many growing pains.
Mm.
Kind of like this size, but we're a company of opportunity. We're not looking right now actively to grow, but if something fell in our lap and something we're talking to, you know, a company that wants to sell, that's the most I can tell you.
Mm.
And we're considering that. And that is how part of the way we grew. That's how we acquired Manny's, and that's how we acquired Mars and Music to the Max and Thoroughbred and all these. The opportunity presented itself
Sure.
with several buildings and really good employees. And we would go in and I'd Sam Ash it and make it look like a Samish music store. And
Sam Ashify it. There you go.
I ashified it. Very good. Yes, I ashified it. Ashification.
Exactly. Dude, that's fantastic. And I got to tell you, man, it really does not surprise me. And I do. I mean, I wish more abundance for you guys. So, you know, let's just go into my last question, which is a pretty obvious one. It's my staple question of the show. I already know the answer, but I really, truly love asking this question because there's so many different perspectives. Like, what's your mojo? Like, why do you keep doing this? Like, retail is hard, man. And I recommend everyone to work retail to understand the value of dealing with different personalities and the fluctuation of the economy and understanding, you know, the different needs of your customers. So what keeps you going, man? And what type of advice would you have for someone in your position looking to at least start another, you know, conglomerate and hopefully as big as Sam Ash or even bigger?
Like people or get out.
Wow.
If you don't like people, there's really no sense in going into a business that's a people business, and retail is a people business.
No doubt.
You have to understand a few things. You know, you're in the service business.
Sure.
Any retail is a service business, and you have to understand in a little way, you're a bit of a servant.
And you're filling the cravings and appetites of what? Musicians. That's what you do. You know, we're emotional creatures as it is.
Exactly. We're kids in candy stores.
Exactly.
And we love that. And you asked me what gets me to work. Well, you see the guitars around me. We sell everything that's musical instruments. My thing is guitars. Period.
I'm sure you've got a Gretsch. I'm sure you got one or two Gretches in there. You have to, because I love them. Those classic, you know, it reminds me of the old Stray Cats and the Elvis. Oh, and for those of you, obviously, this is not a video podcast, but he's actually getting up. He's picking one up.
I have to take my headphones off for a second.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I'm going to show this later too. I'm going to record this video. I'm going to post this too, so I got to see this.
This is a mint condition, all original, 1956 Gretsch 61.
Oh my God! A 1961 what?
6120. It's from 1956.
Gotcha.
And in much better condition than I am, and it's a year older.
Oh my!
And I got the original case and strap too.
So what's that bad boy go for? Come on.
Not that I'm ever going to sell it, but they're pushing now 15 to 20 grand.
Unbelievable. Oh, I know a couple of guys and they would probably lose their minds if I walked in with them.
See, guitars is something I know. I can invest in guitars and make money. I can invest in stocks and lose my shirt every single time.
Sure.
You know, I know what I'm doing, and I love it. I mean, my collection grows. I have my Gibson collection, Fender collection, Paul Reed Smiths, all of those kind of things. And but that's kind of what gets me in. I think I sent you a picture of my office.
I did.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
And I come in and I'm a little bit of a magnet. Most of the people who work in my office play guitar. So we're always talking about guitar. My doorway always has somebody standing in it, which I'm very happy about.
Now, did you ever walk in there and see one of the one of the guitar slots missing a guitar and you lose your mind, or what? Is it like that?
Once. We had 2 guitars stolen. I had recently moved into that side of the building. 2 of my guitars were stolen, and our head of security changed our lives overnight. We're now clocking in and we're chipping in and all of a sudden, we were a nice, easy, open company, and you got to sign in and all that other kind of nonsense. But yes, I walked into my office. I knew immediately what, not only there were holes, I knew immediately what was missing.
What it was. Yeah, of course.
There were,
sure.
one was a gift from one of the guys at the Fender Custom Shop for helping them with something. And that one really hurt me. The other one was a really nice guitar, very cool. Okay, didn't really mean anything to me except dollars.
Right.
This other one was, it hurt.
I can imagine. Well, listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. This has been great, man. I love having these.
Hey, I'm fine here, man. I'm doing great. I'm loving
You just love being in that room. You are a kid in a candy store, man.
Oh yeah. I clearly am. And I can talk all day long.
I know you can. Well, this has been amazing, man. I'm totally grateful for your time. Thanks for sharing your journeys and your strategies and your family legacies. And I got to tell you, I don't see Sam Ash going anywhere. And thank God for that, because, there's a couple of things that I still need to get. So I'm going to have to visit you, you guys up in Springfield. But thanks so much for your time, Sammy. Seriously.
Well, I kind of have to thank you for representing a lot of my customers, our customers, because, you felt so good about the treatment you get from my people that you felt it was necessary to seek me out.
100%.
And that is about as cool as it can get, to have, the people who represent me to be so impressive to somebody to want to do that. And that alone is kind of another reason I go to work. I really dig my people. I would like to think that they feel the same about me.
Well, listen, I want to make sure
everything's behind closed doors.
Right. I just want to make sure you tell Dave and Stu and Jake and all those guys, man, that I totally I'm in their debt, and I'm so grateful for their service, man, because they have certainly guided me through some of the most difficult times in my life, man. And thank you once again. I honor your time and love what you do, man. Keep doing things, and may you get another 100 years of life to, I don't know, maybe put another 40 stores. Who knows?
I want to throw a shout out to the Springfield store and the staff. George runs a great store. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And, all of the people he has brought up, most of those guys have been with us for a while, and there's a reason for that. We want them to be.
I feel like I want to go in there and take a picture of the whole crew and just post it as the
Please do.
place.
Please do, man.
Cool,
They're great. They're awesome. And so are you.
Thanks,
you are
brother.
awesome for doing this.
I appreciate you, Sammy. Seriously, man. Well, listen, I'm going to let you go. Have an amazing day. Keep grinding, man. Keep growing. Much abundance to you and the Sam Ash family, bro.
You've run a great show, man. I really appreciate it.
Totally appreciate you too, man. Have a great day, Sammy. Be well. Say hi to the guys.
Will do.
Thanks, brother.
This has been a Mojo for Musicians podcast. If you're a musician, producer, engineer, or any other industry professional wanting to share your mojo and stories of success with our listeners, or just want to share some feedback on today's episode, we'd love to hear from you. So just send us an email at info@mannycabo.com. Thanks for listening.